Hello friends, it's Timothy here with JankDiverTim. We've got a new set on our hands. That means we get a couple of drafts for the JankDiverTim YouTube channel. Today we're doing Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It is about 2 days after the set has released, and I will say I'm not doing particularly well this time. I have one trophy under my belt in about 6 or 7 drafts, a couple 6-3s, and then a fair number of like 2-3s and things like that. I've been playing a mix of best of 1 and best of 3, and I will say I don't know that I'm actually enjoying the format. I really want to, because there's a lot of really cool things and cool decks and unique ideas here, but there's so many cards that just invalidate games, and everything is so powerful that if you miss a land drop, you basically lose the game. But we'll talk more about that as we get into the draft. There's still plenty of cool stuff here and a lot of things I want to explore in the format. Before we do all that, remember that JankDiverTim is a cube-related community. You can come join our Discord server where you can play free cubes with us multiple times per week and just hang out with some like-minded individuals and talk about Magic. And we have our trophy channel up for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So if you are trophying your drafts, come share them in our retail limited channel, and we'll put you on our leaderboard, and maybe you can share some of the successes that you've had in this format, because I don't think I'm alone in saying that people are getting completely beat. In fact, you know what? It makes sense that there are farmers on Thunder Junction, because I'm just getting completely ranched. Anyway, let's jump in. I'm going to do best of 3, A, because I already have a best of 1 in the queue that I haven't played yet, and B, I think you just get a better idea of how the format actually plays in best of 3. That, and I also just enjoy best of 3 and dislike best of 1, so that's a good enough reason for me to stick with this. This many drafts in, I would normally have an idea for like what colors I like and what colors I don't like, but I really don't know. Like, I'm leaning towards saying green is very strong. Red-black as a color pair has felt very strong. Blue has maybe felt a little bit weak, but then there's like green-white mount decks that seem pretty strong. There's blue-red double spell decks that seem pretty strong. It's just very weird. Like, everything is powerful in this set. There's so many bombs in all these different colors, so there are a lot of games where like you and your opponent are going back and forth and they resolve something like the Gitrog monster or Bonnie Paul, and the game is just over, and it's like, okay, that was interesting. There's all these bonus sheets flying around, which feels a little bit inelegant. We'll talk about that if we see the big scorecards, but hopefully I can kind of parse out the structure. One thing to know about this set, and I don't know that it actually changes the way you would approach a draft, but there's a very interesting structure to the play boosters from this set that are even weirder than the ones from Murders at Karlov Manor, which also had, that was like our introduction to play boosters. But there's a lot of slots that are dedicated to different types of cards, and we'll see if we have enough time. Hopefully I just open like some Mega Bomb rare so I can highlight it and talk about the structure of the pack a little bit, because that is something that's worth noting, though again, it's hard to tell sometimes what you've got. So we don't have a bomb rare, but I do think I'm going to take Chemball. Let's just talk about the cards real quick. So Rush of Dread is interesting. I think this card might be really strong. I have no idea. It makes your opponent sack a bunch of creatures. If they only have one creature they sack it. It's probably actually better than Chemball because it's a monocolored card, and we should try it out. I do think Chemball's quite strong. There's also a lot of incidental token making in the set, so not only will you trigger your own token stuff, but you'll get to piggyback off your opponent's token stuff. I'm just not really convinced like black-white is super strong, but who knows? I could see taking either of the rares here with Rise of the Varmints, Omen Port Vigilante as pretty good uncommons. Back for More is decent in this set, and then the Desert. So we're going to highlight that. Let's talk about structure of the pack real quick. So you're guaranteed a rare, you're guaranteed 3 uncommons, you're guaranteed 6 commons. The 7th common is either a common or it's one of the list cards, which is Special Guest / the Big Score. There's also a land slot, which is either a basic 50% of the time or a desert 50% of the time. So if you get past a pack like this that has a desert, a 2-color desert in it, then you can guarantee that the person passing to you did not take a desert. So there's a lot going on. There's also these pretty hideous, I think, prosperity posts. They're called breaking news cards. Each one is capable of committing a crime. There's one of these guaranteed per pack, though I have seen packs that have multiples, which I don't think is a thing that can actually happen in paper, but due to the wild card slots, which is where you get all your extra rare from, you can get multiples. But I like Free Strider Lookout. It's not like the best pick after Rush of Dread, but I think green black's fine. 3 mana, 3/3 reach. If you commit a crime, you look at the top 5 cards of your library and get a land. That's pretty good, though green is the worst color at committing crimes. There's also Buried in the Garden, which we just saw in MKM. It's still just as good here. Prairie Dog is a very good 2-drop as well, in a set that, again, does not feel like it has a lot of premium 2s. But let's go ahead and take the Lookout. Let's see how that one does. Okay, we got options here. And it's not the rare. This card, for some reason, is a rare and a sorcery. Like, this could be almost like an uncommon instant, and it still wouldn't be that good. Like, this is just a better removal spell. But we have 2 cards I'm looking at here. Congregation Gryff and Frontier Seeker. Both would put me into white. There's not really a black card that's going to go with my Rush of Dread here. There's Throw from the Saddle, which I think is a pretty strong 2-drop. Congregation Gryff is a really strong card, but puts us in green-white, which I think is a strong color combination. Also, no, Outlaw Stitcher's very good here too, but doesn't really look like the type of card I should be taking. I'm going to take the Congregation Gryff here. Though, again, Frontier Seeker, good 2. Not a lot of good 2s. But I'm not going to tie myself to anything that's here yet. Let's just feel out the draft a little bit more. Like here, I can tell a rare was taken. I can tell a normal uncommon was taken. But, oh, there's 7 commons too, so you can guarantee that there was not a big scorecard or anything like that. But with the wild card slots, it's just hard to tell. Blood Hustler is very good. It can commit crimes, but also pays you off for committing crimes. Besides that, I think Heartless Pillage might actually be, like, decent in the format. Like, this card's normally not great. It wasn't great in Ixalan, but when you have things that care about committing crimes, suddenly it takes on new meaning. Wanton Gryff, pretty like replaceable. The blue-green land doesn't do that much, though. You can play off-color deserts if you have some of the crime stuff. Ooh, we've got a strong pack here. So there's Aloe Alchemist, there's Make Your Own Luck, there's Dance of the Tumbleweed. All is really good green cards. This one puts me in a color that I'm not quite looking at yet, whereas the other 2 let me stick to what I've got. I think Dance of the Tumbleweed's really good, and if I wanted to play all 4 of these cards in the same deck, I should take the Mana Fixin'. But again, this is a good 2-drop in a format that has a lot of really mopey 2-drops. Worth noting, you can target your opponent's creature with the plot ability just to commit a crime if you don't think you're going to get a good attack. And there's also a Mirage Mesa. Should mention that as well. Consuming Ashes is decent. Make Your Own Luck has really high upside, but I have not had a lot of success with it yet. Here's 2 really good green-black cards. They care about filling up your graveyard. Not actually sure which one's better. This one commits a crime. Usually get this down to like 4 or 5 mana. This one requires a bunch of creatures in your graveyard, which is not like the hardest thing to do. This is where my like lack of expertise in the format really shows, because I don't actually know which one of these cards is better. Though green black looking pretty open. There's a Bucolic Ranch, which is a pretty mopey land. Also, coincidentally, my favorite flavor at Buffalo Wild Wings. But let's take the Marauder. It's a good sign that we're seeing cards like that. Decimate. In case you're not familiar with the memo, this card is uncastable in the format. You have to have a target for all 4 things, and that's just not going to line up. Don't put Decimate in your deck. Maybe sideboard. There's a Giant Beaver, which is a good little 4-drop, but I'm actually going to take the Arid Archway. This is a bounce land. Bounce lands are really strong, if slow. This is functionally a land. It doesn't ramp you, right? It uses your land drop and bounces the land back, so it's not ramp, but it draws you a land. So it's like a tapped land that draws a card, which is really powerful. Oh, wow. That's a Vault Plunder. There's also a green-black land and a Dance of the Tumbleweed. Vault Plunder is a really strong 3-drop. Festering Gulch is really good, though. I'm not sure which to take here. Like, right now I'm thinking I'm not necessarily splashing the Gryff, because I've got some pretty strong green-black cards. This can commit a crime. Man, if you don't take these deserts when you see them, you, like, don't get them. But I'm going to take a creature. Maybe that's wrong. Back for more on the wheel is a good sign for green-black being open. This is an instant. It was in Ikoria. You reanimate a creature and then it fights something. I don't have a ton of big creatures to break parity on that, but I have enough creatures that it should always do something. And it's just a good sign for the draft pool that I might be in the right colors. I would love Patient Naturalist as well. That card would go perfectly in this deck. That is a late Spinewoods Paladin as well. I value this card pretty highly. I think this is a strong green common, a testament to how good green's cards are in this set. There's also just a blue-green land, which you could end up splashing, plus this is just like a tapped forest that commits a crime for a couple cards that I do have that care about committing crimes, but let's just take the Solid Little Beater. Okay, that's a little bit late for Explosive Derailment. Snakeskin Veil is really strong, and again, I could play Bristling Backwoods as a tapped force that commits a crime, but I'm going to take Snakeskin Veil. One thing to know about this format is there's just a ton of removal, like there's way more removal than normal because of the bonus sheet, and I have found Snakeskin Veil to be awesome. Going to take a little 2 here. This is best of 3, so the Voracious Varmint, even if it doesn't make my main board, is a little bit better to have, and Boneyard Desecrator is kind of replaceable level 4 drop. I would hope that Bedrock Sentinel doesn't make my deck. Okay. This is not the power level of a pack that you want to see in this format. This is just not a very good pack at all. What I think I'm going to do here is take Consuming Ashes just as a solid little removal spell that can get anything out of the way. Everybody has bombs. Like, everybody's going to have bombs in the format. So having a couple clean answers to bombs is useful. There is the rare, which is a fine card. Like, the later you cast this, the more it becomes just like Demonic Tutor. That being said, back for more wheeled. So there's a chance I just wheel Pillage the Bog. And it's not like a card I would miss if it didn't make my deck anyway. There's also Treasure Dredger, which is okay. Can help splash. Can do some other things, but it's fine. I'll take the solid little removal spell here. That is a Stingerback Terror. Okay, pretty strong pack. So Stingerback Terror, very good card. Though not being able to cast it is rough, even if we were able to splash it for plot. I don't think I'm going to take that. I'm looking at the Hollow Marauder here, and then I just want like all of the self-mill pieces. They're not a lot in the set, but I think I'm going to take this. I really am looking to do green-black graveyard stuff. Skullduggery, I wouldn't mind if it wheeled. Throw from the Saddle again, pretty strong. Let's take another Marauder. Again, this is a 7-drop, but it's like not really a 7-drop. It's not really a 7-drop, y'all. The third one's starting to get a little sketch. I might actually just take Servant of the Stinger, which is a good little defensive 2-drop. Botanical Sanctum doesn't do very much for me. It's also worth noting that this is just worse than the desert most of the time. Full Steam Ahead would be interesting if I picked up a Rise of the Varmints, but I'm not going to take it here. Fake Your Own Death's okay. Alright, let's take the Servant. Good 2-drop. We're hoping to get the green, black, gold cards, honestly. This is not a good pack for us. This would be the perfect pack to pick up like a Tap Desert, but it's just the wrong colors. We're not going to play double off color. I mean, there's good cards here. Miriam, Roadrunner, both strong. Thunder Lasso is pretty good as well. Guess I'll just take the Raven. Whenever you commit a crime, you drain your opponent for a life. Like, it's a creature that goes to the graveyard for Marauder at some point. Just my deck's not really like going all in on that. I think Free Strider Commando kind of sucks. Like, I have not been impressed with this. It is worth noting, it does come back as a 5/5 if you reanimate it. But I'll take the Raven, followed by Bandit, Assassin, Intimidation Campaign. No mana fixin' makes the campaign seem unlikely. Oasis Gardener pretty weak. I'll take a Bandit here. Rooftop Assassin's okay, but it's just okay. Bandit's a mana ramp. Okay, there's an Outcaster Greenblade. It's an okay card. We don't really have the deserts to back it up. I could also just take Desert's Due. I think I'm going to take this. Between that and the Bristle Bandit, like, we're getting pretty close to being able to splash something really powerful if we open it. Wouldn't mind the soured springs here. Conduit pylons also fine in the format. Drover Grizzly okay. Deserts do okay. I get one card back from this pack. It could be something playable. And he joins up. I bet she does. This is, I've seen people play this against me a lot, and it's really not worth it. It's 4 mana and 3 colors for 5 damage. Like, it's just a harder to cast version of something like this. I'm going to take Desperate Bloodseeker. This is exactly what my deck wants. I have not seen the gold cards yet, which kind of sucks. But 2 mana, 2/2 lifelink, already a decent card, and then you can mill yourself. Plus, you can target your opponent to commit a crime if you think that's better. Ooh, Rise from the Varmints. Okay. I would be very happy with the Alchemist here, but Rise from the Varmints is kind of a payoff card for doing everything we want to do here. And now we just want, like, every Desperate Bloodseeker we can get. Plus, maybe we wheel the full steam ahead. We did not wheel anything of note. I guess I could take a Sterling Hound. It's not actually the most embarrassing card, and Surveil 2 is kind of like self-mill when you want it to be. Red Rock Sentinel's not making my deck. The removal situation is light. Rush of Dread, though this does not kill your opponent's best creature on a board full of creatures. Consuming Ashes, back for more. No cheap removal, unfortunately. There's still time. Okay, there's a Skullduggery and a Drover Grizzly. This seems like a good time to pick up Skullduggery. This is still a decent card. Not, like, amazing in the format, but it can trigger, like, our Lookout and our Blood Hustler. It can win a combat. It can kill, like, some random 3/1s and stuff like that. I think I'm happy to have that. It's best of 3 as well, so you can board out of it if you think you're against a deck that's not going to present reasonable targets. Fake Your Own Death, again, just okay. I don't think going into pack 3 with 20 playables I'm going to play a second Sterling Hound, but maybe Fake Your Death makes the cut. And we're really just hoping for the gold cards here. The 2 golden commons are the type of things that really pull this type of deck together. The recursive creatures, Badlands Revival and Rutstein, both really good. Oh, that's a little late for that card. That card's pretty strong. And last pick, Harrier Strix. Terror of the Peaks. Wow. Huh. I mean, one of the best cards in the set. Wow, that is... But it's double red. I mean, okay, what am I passing if I don't spec on Terror? I'm passing a Desperate Bloodseeker, which is good in this deck. Do I have ways to discard this and then maybe get it back with back for more? I could mill over it. If I get a red desert, I have an additional source of red here. I have a hard Bristle Bandit. It seems like, I mean, I'm stretching really hard to try and get this into the pool, but the power level's high enough that we should at least spec on it since we're not passing anything super relevant to take it. And now we're looking at another Owl Alchemist. I wonder if that one wheels, given that the other ones have wheeled. There's 2 green guards in the pack. Apothecary's really strong. We're going to take Apothecary here. Though it is worth noting we're not, like, that good at committing crimes. Rest in peace. This is a mythic rare, and it's completely unplayable in the format. I guess that's not true. Like, there are some best of 3 matches where you can board it in, and it's pretty strong. Okay, this looks like the perfect place to pick up a Festering Gulch. It commits a crime, it's a desert, so you can fetch it up with Green Blade. It's mana fixin', that's kind of the key there. There's really nothing else competing for it here, so that's a good one. Unfortunate Accident's a nice one. So this is essentially, read it as 5 mana, make a 1/1 destroy target creature. And that's a fine place to be. You can also pay 4 mana to just blow up the creature and give up the token. And I suppose you could pay 2 mana to make a mercenary, though that's pretty bad. Another Raven. I don't even know that I want the first Raven in my deck, but this is pretty good. It is not a 1 mana spell, though. That's a lie. Here we have another Consuming Ashes, a Betrayal at the Vault, and a Throw from the Saddle. Those are all viable options. This card's really strong when you have Apothecary on board. but is a 6-mana spell that can sometimes go really wrong. I think, honestly, I'm tempted to just take Throw from the Saddle here. I have multiple Death Touchers, like Apothecary and Servant. I have a couple just kind of beefy creatures in general, and it's a cheap removal spell as opposed to another big, expensive removal spell. And now we're looking at a couple options. I could take the Betrayal at the Vault now. The green-white land would be okay. Buried in the Garden's not going to make the deck. I could just take another Spinewoods Paladin as well. Just big creature. Again, I want to be very creature heavy for my Rise of the Varmints and my Hollow Marauders. So we'll do that. Cruel Ultimatum. Nice. I mean, I could just keep jamming 5/4 Tramplers. It's kind of a game plan. It's like bad against control, but it's either that or Rare Draft. I could take another Skullduggery. Correct. Cactarantula is okay, but I think it's actually worse than the 5/4. Consuming Ashes, and then 2-mana 3/3. I don't think the 3/3 is really what my deck is about, so I could just take another Consuming Ashes here over a Green-White Desert. I could just take the Green-White Desert, again. Card that commits crimes for my 1 or 2 things, but take the clean removal spell. Ooh, and we wield the Bloodseeker. So the card we gave up, quote-unquote, to take Terror comes back anyway. I don't think Terror is actually going to make the deck, and Holy Alchemist did come back. Okay. In here, I could take an Assassin or a 4/2. I don't think this pick matters that much. I don't think this pick matters that much. Okay. So, we've got a green-black deck here. Betrayal at the Vault last pick, huh? Okay. Okay. Gotta make a lot of cuts. I am gonna cut Terror of the Peaks. Like, it's too greedy. I didn't pick up any red fixin'. So that's just going to be a no. Let's do a quick pass of things that you do have to like rearrange some of these cards. Like Spree goes in your 1-drop slot, but it's never a 1-mana spell. Anything that I think just sucks right off the bat. I think the Raven's pretty mopey in this deck, but okay. I think the Varmint's pretty weak. Sterling Hound could probably go. But I do need to be creature dense. So if I cut that, that's cutting 3 creatures. Creature count's still at 16, but still need to cut 3 cards somehow. I could cut Betrayal of the Vault and bring it in if I think my opponent's going to be doing like something slower or have creatures that die to what I'm doing here. Like, I think I got away fine on removal. Granted, I have a big chunk of removal that costs 2 black. Snakeskin Veil also is a card that I could cut because it's not a creature, and then just bring it in if I'm against like a really heavy control deck or something like that. Same goes for Skullduggery, but I do want some sort of cheap interaction. And then I would have to cut 1 more card here. I'm not convinced Back for More is actually great in my deck. I don't have that many big creatures that are going to come back and survive. So this just ends up being 6-mana kill a creature a lot of the time. That might not be good enough, but I'm going to keep it in for now. What would be the last cut here? I kind of like the Bandit. Here. I could cut Blood Hustler. I'm going to be targeting myself a lot with these and these. I'm not really going out of my way to commit crimes. Like, this is a good little late game mana sink, and the card can get big, but I'm not sure it's really doing what my deck wants to do. I guess it's pretty good with Apothecary. This last cut is pretty difficult. Should I cut one of the 5/4s? Not going to cut a land. Like, I'm gravitating towards the Skullduggery, and then we just bring the Skullduggery back in once we know it's good. I think I'm going to cut the Blood Hustler. Maybe that's wrong, because this card is kind of like generically good, but it's not really doing what my deck is trying to do. And God forbid I draw it on turn 4 and just play like a 1/1 on turn 4, you know? So I could be leaving some power on the sidelines, that's for sure. There's Betrayal at the vault here. There's Blood Hustler. There's a Snakeskin Veil. Those are all fine cards that feel like they could go in the deck. Obviously, there's a Terror of the Peaks in my sideboard as well, but let's try out green-black and see how it does. Again, this is best of 3. I mean, I've got the green-black payoffs. I did not see the green-black gold cards. That's a bummer. And somebody did take Pillage the Bog, though that's the type of card we don't know if they took it because it's a rare or because they were green-black, you know? So there's probably another green-black drafter at the table. They took, like, the old Rutstein, Honest Rutstein, whatever. Yeah. If I draw a third land, it's quite good. This gets me my next land. And if I have the time to play this, get the tap or the dual land, and then play that and pick this up, like, I can do some things here. That being said, I will need to draw the third land. Hey, we got there. Alright, so let's start off with probably just the 3-2. Could play the 1-3. Let's play the 3-2. It's just way easier. I get an attack by plotting this next turn than playing this. My opponent plays a 2-2 and I just trade. Omen Port Vigilante, so if they target me, or if they commit a crime, it gets double strike. It's pretty good. Also drew the Archway, that's funny. Okay. I think I'm just going to play the Green Blade here. That's going to go get, what, a swamp? Yep. And, I mean, I could block this, honestly. Like, they use Take Up the Shield, that would be pretty annoying. Thunder Lasso, okay. So they're going to hit me for 6. I have the Consuming Ashes. It's pretty strong. So Thunder Lasso taps target creature, which means they got to give it double strike. Yeah, let's go ahead and just kill that. Surveil 2. Huh. I could put that in the graveyard. Do I want to draw a Bloodseeker? So if I put that in the graveyard, I play a land next turn. This costs 6, but if I could trade off something, it gets bigger. I think I mean, I definitely want to draw this. Do I want to draw the Bloodseeker? Probably not. Let's put a creature in the graveyard. And I'm going to not sack my Servant. So this costs 2 to equip. Okay. That's a pretty nasty curve of Vigilante into Thunder Lasso. Alright. So let's play, we want to play the Archway before. Could Surveil 1. Oh, my undo button is not working for some reason. My Z is not working. Do I want to get greedy and bounce a desert here? No, I want to grow this, right? So let's just not mess around with that. I'm going to plot, I'm going to attempt to give that +3/+2. Okay, and I'm going to play this before combat to grow my Green Blade and just bounce a Forest back to my hand. Look, my land drew me a land. Coming in for 7. And, I mean, I can make them lose 4. They're playing a Prickly Pear. Paladin's pretty strong, too. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I mean, send this in. May take it. And I'll go ahead and jam my Hollow Marauder here. Target you. So if they can't discard a card because they're empty-handed, or if they discard a card that costs less than 4, I draw a card. They discarded a cheap spell, so I draw a card. And it's a 4/2 flyer. Okay, so they are just the full-on 3 colors here. Terminal Agony, 6 mana kill, or 4 mana kill a creature. Not something I'm that worried about, honestly. Throw from the saddle. I mean, I can just kill them here, right? Yeah, let's not give them an extra turn. Yeah, we have to. So we target opponent sacks half the creatures. So I'm gonna make him sack a creature, and then I'm gonna saddle up my other creature to get +1/+1 and hit him for 5. Doesn't matter. I mean, they're gonna sack the 1/1 here. Yep. And then, does it matter which one I use? Let's do the Death Toucher in case they've got some sort of way to pump their creature. 5 coming in. Okay. Against red-white, that's possibly, or I guess maybe just 3 colors. They played Terminal Agony. Just kind of aggro. What is this? Rustle or Rampage. Untap all creatures. Target creature gains double strike. Okay. Voracious Vermin looks okay against a Thunder Lasso. It's like not really that strong. Snakeskin Veil's probably pretty good if my opponent's going to be casting things like... Yeah, if they're going to be low to the ground, we want to be a little bit lower to the ground ourselves. So Snakeskin Veil should probably come in. Skullduggery looks decent. Not great, but decent against low curve creatures. Yeah, my deck looks fairly well set up against this. I could just cut the back for more, honestly, or a Hollow Marauder. Most of my stat lines are okay against what I'm seeing here. We've got the removal to stave them off. This top-end creature, I don't think I should cut any of those. I'm going to cut the back for more. Just kind of 6-drop for a 1-drop that interacts more favorably. I think I can handle an aggro deck fairly well, given that I have a bunch of 5/4s that gain life and decent amount of removal. We are against the I am the Asian man. Forgot to shout out my opponent there. Always shout out the opponents. Sure. Bloodseeker gets things going. If they have the same curve as last time, I probably just get beat down super hard. I mean, hopefully they don't. Drawing 2 lands is not ideal. Okay, Apothecary went away, another land went away. I will need to draw something to bridge the gap between turn 3 and plotting this on turn 4. Hopefully just a 3 and a 4. Oh, very happy. Okay, I like that trade. I mean, if they play a Prickly Pear, I'm still not doing anything. Yep. Just gonna die to, like, curve out if I don't hit something here. That's not bad. That's not bad. Again, just something to pave the way, and hopefully, again, something that does it again next turn, so that I don't have to just spend turn 4 plotting this, but I'm gonna attempt to block here. The more creatures that get in my graveyard, the better. And then, ideally, we draw something on turn 4, regardless of what it is, and then just slam this on turn 5. But as long as I can trading seems really good for me. Gets creatures in my graveyard for my Hollow Marauders, makes my Rise of the Varmints better. I did just kind of like toss this into the block. They could have easily like had something that targeted me and eaten my creature for free. So I guess I'm happy that they didn't. Yeah, it does seem like they have some decisions to make. I mean, if they go Thunder Lasso here, that's pretty strong. Mirage Mesa on black. So no 4-drop coming down. That's usually a good sign. Okay. You didn't have a trick last turn, so I'm going to operate under the assumption you don't have one this turn, but if you do, that's okay. I would rather tricks happen against my early game creatures. Really, we're splashing for something. Ooh, oh, and I can cast it? Let's go. So good. Alright, pitch something from your hand, please. Now, of course, this is the type of game, like I was talking about, my opponent could just untap and play, like, Yeehaw. Ooh, I have the answer for that, never mind. Form a posse, and they discarded a cheap spell. Yeah, Terminal Agony is fine. Alright, they didn't play a land, so they're on all spells. 5-4 with Trample coming down here. Gain 3 life. Maintaining a healthy life total. 4 creatures in my graveyard. Rodeo Pyromancer, sure. So whenever you cast your first spell, you get green, green. Oh, there's that. Question is, how much do I want to wait on it? See if they want to go for some sort of multi-block on this. They do not. I mean, is a bunch of 2/1s just really good here? I think we cast this. 4 mana for 4 2/1s. Like, it's pretty greedy to wait on it. I'm just taking 7 on the swing back. I have not seen this token yet. He looks like, is that Alf? I don't know. Okay, Ferocification's a nice one. Beginning of combat, give a creature +2/+0, or give it Menace and Haste until end of turn. That's pretty gnarly. I'll just take this hit. I'm still at a cool 21. No block. Ooh, throw from the saddle. Okay, I mean, we can start getting really aggressive here. I think I'm going to consume an Ashes on the Pyromancer. And we don't really have to use the throw from the saddle. Like, if they just trade across with 2 varmints, they're taking 9. They got something in hand? Ah, okay, destroy a tapped or an attacking creature. That's still okay. They're top decking. I mean, they have Ferocification. So I'm putting them down to 13. This will come down to, you know, them drawing something better first. Archway doesn't really do much. I mean, it draws me a land, but we're at the point where that doesn't matter very much anymore. Like, this can only kill small creatures right now. It cannot kill, like, a 5/5. It can kill that, though. Would you like to jam with that creature? Ooh, that can pump itself. I mean, if they have... So what I'm going to do here... Okay, they don't have an instant. We're doing the arena instant check. Otherwise, I would punch there, but they could give the Scalestorm Summoner +2/+0, and then it fulfills its own condition. Alright, we got there against Mardu. Yeah, I mean, I had fun. I won the game, so I guess I had fun. I don't know if my opponent also clicked the smiley face or not. Alright, deck worked out pretty well there. Didn't play against any Mega Bombs, so that helps. I don't think my deck beats Bomby Bombs, so we'll have to dodge those somehow in multiple best-of-3 matches. But happy to take game 1. Deck kind of ticked too, like the turn 4 Marauder was very nice. Dave, 97-94. What up, Dave? It's a bunch of Alloy Alchemists. Again, if I draw my 3rd land, like, we're kind of set. Don't mind just running out of 3/2 on turn 2. Rise of the Varmints. Okay, again, just try to trade as much as possible at this point. Blue-red. Oh, Malcolm, just 2/2 flying haste with upside? Sure. I mean, it's not a broken rare, but it is a hell of a rare. Blue-red is just one of these, like, never run out of gas decks, and then you get stuff like this that compounds it by just drawing you more cards. I feel like I'm always losing against this deck somehow. I don't like my odds against a blue-red deck, especially if I don't hit my 3rd land. If I don't hit my 3rd land, I'm feeling, like, particularly bad. Shackle Slinger's okay. Alright, 3rd land's nice. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna offer the trade. They're not gonna take it. If they double spell, they can keep this tapped down. But Greenblade is gonna go get... Oh, I can't actually... Oh yeah, I can. So I'm gonna get the green-black desert. with the intentions of playing Apothecary and using this to ping, commit a crime, and give lifelink to my 3/2. We'll see how that turns out. So yeah, when they double spell, they tap a creature down. If it was already tapped, it has a stun counter on it. Silver Deputy, okay. So that's spell number 1. Let's see if they have spell number 2. And let's see if they put a land on top. Okay. Interesting. So second spell coming in, they're going to kill my Green Blade and lock down my Alchemist. That would make my next play a lot worse, for sure. Okay. I mean, they don't have to, right? I'm at 11. I've had 3 turns this game, and I'm at 11. Sure. Slick sequence. All right. I mean, I can just concede now. Like, my opponent has drawn 2. They're gonna draw 2 extra cards. Like, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. All right. We're gonna Apothecary. Gonna still do the plan. This will be a 2/3. It's just gonna be a lot worse. Give this lifelink and a jam. Get my 2 life back. Yep. Sleek. Just kill a thing, draw a card, trigger a bunch of other stuff that does a bunch of stuff. Sure, okay. That's gonna get back Slick sequence. So I don't conceive of a way I'm gonna beat this deck here, unless I just curve out perfectly on the play, but even if I do that, they're gonna draw. I think I'm gonna make that same cut. That was brutal. That was brutal. I mean, I saw like 5 cards from my opponent, and their deck is better than mine. Their deck is certainly better than mine. Mine might be synergistic, but it doesn't kill fast. It also apparently doesn't like to draw more than 2 lands. Like, it's making me, like, sweat the 3rd land every single time. I could have mulliganed this, honestly, because if this 2-drop dies, it just doesn't do anything, and even if it survives, I'm not doing anything. Huh. 1 mana blue spell, so that's the cantrip. And the outlaw cantrip. Okay, Silver Deputy, I like that being the play. I can at least plot one of these next turn, so that's nice. And then next turn I can go cast one from my hand, cast this, and I have a couple 5/4s on board. That's pretty strong. That is pretty strong. Yep, Shackle Slinger's good. Yep, Deputy gets in. Sling those shackles, brother. Alright. Let's cast it. And let's cast another one. So notably, they cannot tap a creature and put a stun counter on it. So tapping down my Paladin here doesn't really do that much. And they can't double spell twice. Or, I mean, you can't cast your second spell twice in the same turn. So they can't tap a creature and then somehow also get a stun counter on it. If they just kill a 5/4, that's okay as well. Ah, Rodeo Pyromancers is back. Okay. It means they're going to have a big turn next turn, or I could just kill it. It's probably worth doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. See if there's any blocks here. I mean, this is a 2-turn clock if you just don't block multiple 5/4s. That being said, question is, when do I want to get cutesy with this Consuming Ashes? And what card do I want to use it on? What I could do... I kind of want to kill this one, but if they cast a spell and then I try to kill this in response to them making mana... I feel like I should just kill this. But this does give them a bunch of extra mana that next turn. Alright, I should kill something at sorcery speed. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take out the 3/4 and just choke them on that mana. Yeah, I should have used that, but it doesn't matter. Like, this is almost certainly tapping a creature down this turn. Or keeping one of my 5/4s tapped down. The goal, of course, for me being to trade off my other 5/4 and then cast Hollow Marauder. Okay, Discerning Peddler as your first card. Discard a card, draw a card. Did not discard anything. So if they go like Slick Sequence here, keep one of these Paladins tapped down. That's exactly what happens. Yeah, okay. I mean, that does let me Hollow Marauder. This just gets to draw a card for some reason. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is gonna stun my Paladin. And kill my bandit, which is all okay. Does me... Oh, I can't actually cast this unless I draw land, because that was a source of mana. So it added a mana, basically, but also I lost a mana. So I don't get to do that. I do get to do that, though. That's pretty good. It does mean they don't get a double block here. Sure. They do have... no, okay, so hold on. -4, -0. So that's an 8/6. It's going to become a 4/6, which is still enough to trade for 2 creatures. Okay, we'll do that. Oh, and I can plot this. Maybe I could have done that on a previous turn and I just didn't notice. Yeah, okay, so -4, -6. And then double block. You would have to block with your Shackle Slinger, which I'm okay with. Okay. I like that. Yeah, you gotta throw Shackle Slinger in there if you want to kill it. Well, I guess you could take 4. Interesting. Okay, gonna plot that. Opponent with 4 cards in hand. I'm at 25, so I'm not afraid of dying. I'm just afraid of them answering 2 creatures and then I don't have anything going on. Well, I've got a bunch of follow-ups. Sword of Wealth and Power, sure. +2/+2, protection from instants and sorceries. When it deals damage, make a treasure, and your next instant or sorcery gets copied. Yep, there's that derailment. So yeah, they're effectively dealing with both threats here. Like we knew. Like we knew. I do get to get the last card out of their hand. The attack makes sense. Oh, hold on a minute. Alright, that's interesting, but I think I'm just going to unload here. So I'm going to get that last card out of their hand. It was kind of whatever. That would be a nice one to have up. And yeah, I'm going to make 2 2/1s with this. Their deck is nice. It's like the deck I always want. And they have like this big kind of pseudo-bomby mythic rare. I mean, this makes them lose 2 creatures right now. So I assume if I untap and the board is as it stands, like, we're probably winning. I feel like we're winning this game. It's the game 3 that is going to be a little bit rough. And my opponent's deck just looks good. Sure. Gonna block with a 4/2. I shouldn't block with the 4/2. That doesn't make sense. Okay, they know they're dead. Sure. Okay. The Varmint? Varmint should probably come in. I'm not bringing in the 2/4. Yeah, the Varmint's okay. Skullduggery doesn't actually seem very good. It doesn't straight up kill anything, and they've got tricks, so it's hard for me to position it in a spot where it works. I mean, Betrayal at the Vault, if I get to cast it, is good. But how am I getting to that point? Rush of Dread looked like it would have been good that game, even though I didn't cast it. Fortunate Accident is fine still. Where are you? Where have you been? I mean, I don't need you, but where have you been? What's the cut here? I don't want to cut any removal. The Snakeskin Veil does feel important. Huh. cut the Spinewoods Paladins. That's a tough cut. I could just not bring in Betrayal at the vault, but it's one of my few ways to 2-for-1 them when they also have a bunch of 2-for-1s. I'm actually just not sure what the last cut should be. I could just not bring in Voracious Varmint, since like if I sack it to kill the sword, I'm still just kind of losing. They have Derailment. I don't have any artifacts to worry about. Okay, I mean, we'll run it back, and I don't have high hopes. Like, their deck is just all good cards. Plus, they have the sword. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Sure. This is decent if I can stick this with the Snakeskin Veil up. No Malcolm? One time, no Malcolm? Sure. Okay. I prefer that to the Malcolm. Obviously, we're gonna target myself here. And we did not put a creature in the graveyard, so that's worst case scenario. Is no creature in the graveyard. Full cost Marauder. Okay, I don't mind Oasis Gardener. I assume they're gonna attack here. They did not. Oh. Huh. I should get that attack in while I can. I mean, they can hit me back for 4, but I hit them for 4. And I'm kind of representing my Snakeskin Veil here. Could be Skullduggery. But if they're a savvy opponent, they'll know that I gotta stop there. Alright, there goes Rodeo Pyromancers. Hit me for 2. An Oasis Gardener stays up. So yeah, they're representing the blue spell. That's not a bad draw. That's definitely better than Paladin here. Well, I get to play a bunch of creatures out. So yeah, they're representing the -4/-0 trick. Yeah, and they have 2 things. I will target myself to lose a life and draw a card. Arid Archway. Let's play our 3/2 out. And we will sit tight. Now, I've got the trick to beat their trick. The question is, do they have the second trick? Because the second trick usually wins, right? I mean, it's a cantrip and trick is the problem. It's -4/-0 and draw a card. I mean, it's -1/-0 if they don't have a outlaw in play, but they have multiples, so... Ooh, Frostification. Okay. That's going to be a problem. They could play something and give it haste as well. Haste and Menace. I think this card's quite strong. Let's see what they do with it here. +2/+0 until end of turn. Okay. Does it attack? Interesting. So I think I just want to dump a bunch of creatures in the graveyard. So I want to do something like this. They go for their trick. I try to get them with Snakeskin Veil. They could also just let it happen, right? Ooh, I could have maybe... Huh, I was just thinking maybe I could have done this different. No, they have 5 power. Alright. So we're trading tricks here. They do not get to cantrip. I lose my board. They keep their 2/2. And I should probably just get the last card out of their hand here. Just leave them hellbent. I mean, makes it way less likely that they can double spell. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Alright, let's get our Archway down. Do I pick up my Gulch? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana next turn. I think I'm gonna get greedy and pick up Gulch. Oh yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay. We got a game, we got a game. I mean, this can make anything come down swinging, but I like my odds. My hand is quite good. I've got pressure on board. So the plan next turn... 1, 2, 3. This costs 4 mana. So next turn I can go Marauder plus Bandit. Alternatively, I could play Paladin plus Gulch. Opponent must have a tough decision with that card they just drew, I guess. And I'm not going to block. If they just give +2/+0 here and attack, I'm just not going to block that. I win that race as it stands. My hand's good. I've got some life gain. I've got removal. Got another, like, 2 for 1, potentially 3 for 1 coming off the top. Is my opponent roping? Did they disconnect? Dave 9794. Oh, Tyler. Alright, well, my opponent's not doing anything. Not Hami. Oh, my E's not working. Okay, so the whole left side of my keyboard is just not working. Y'all, this is the riveting gameplay you came to see, right? Okay, so opponent just disconnected then. Okay, so let's not dilly-dally. Gonna play this, shoot you down to 11, play this, pass turn. My opponent either disconnected or got salty and left. You know what? I'm going to give Dave the benefit of the doubt here and say that they just disconnected and they haven't made it back in time. It's always hard. It's always hard to imagine that's the case when it's like in a situation where you just turn the corner and like they're in a losing position and then suddenly they disconnect. But it does happen. It does happen sometimes. So I'm going to give Dave 9794 the benefit of the doubt that they're not just roping me because they're upset and that they're actually just like disconnected and didn't make it back in time. So I'm going to say good game, Dave. I'm going to have a positive attitude about this. And they go like kill this slick sequence there. Okay, so I mean I probably got roped there. I would have appreciated if my opponent didn't do that. But again, Dave, if you disconnected, I had a good first game and second game with you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I didn't think I was going to beat that opponent, but I had a good draw against their draw there. And we take that. I also drew well because my opening hand did not stack up well against blue-red. But these Hollow Marauders really pulling their weight. Let's see if we can get the trophy. Just one time, 3-0 trophy against Medic. I'm on the play, and I have a good hand. This is quite good. I mean, 2-drop into 3-drop into possibly just removal spell here. Yeah. Not sure it matters which land I play first. 3-2 trample with upside at uncommons. What a world we live in. Yeah, I am going to cast this on 2. If I had any other 2-drop, I would play that instead, obviously, but I do not. There's a chance they just don't play to the board this turn. I get to smash them for 3. Ooh, I get to smash that for 3. I am going to play my Free Strider Lookout. And pass. If I have to use this to just kill a creature, I will. I would like to get to the 5-mana mode and get the 1/1 Mercenary. Like, that's a pretty big difference. Making a body versus not making a body. But my opponent does have 4 mana. If they just play like a Beaver or something, then so be it. You could also just kill my Lookout. The reach thing. People have been complaining about the reach thing. It's just wider than the card. Maybe a little bit smaller. Like, maybe just make that a little bit smaller. Alright, Jolene. We should kill Jolene, right? That does leave me without a removal spell for the next thing. Yeah, I'm gonna miss out on the 1/1 here, which again is such a big deal, but I do ramp. Alright, I'm gonna kill that and just push the advantage. And hopefully they don't have Snakeskin Veil. Sure, whatever. Whatever. Look at the top 5, get a land, 5 non-lands. We'll just, okay. Like, we'll just smile and nod. Smile and nod. I mean, if they play a big creature here, like, I'm maybe in a little trouble, but I don't really want Jolene to get that attack in, get a treasure, ramp them. Feeling, I mean, I guess that land doesn't make, like, all the difference or anything, but having that land versus not having that land would be so big if they kill one of my creatures. Yeah. Oh, tap that for mana in response? No. Okay. So I mean, they're giving up a mana there. Voracious Varmint, sure. Alright, not bad. So I assume they're going to trade here, and then I can play my Hollow Marauder. Just get the nice little 2-for-1, maybe 3-for-1. The fact that I have to target them. It's any number of target opponents. I guess you can not target them. Like if they have that 4/3 big vault card that makes a clue token when they discard a card, maybe you would not target them, but I find that hard to believe. So I want to draw the card off this. They didn't play a land last turn, I don't think. Or maybe they did. Yes. Oh, Rise of the... Wow. So they just don't have a land in hand? Because that would have been a 6/6 this turn if they played a land. I drew another land myself, so... we'll see how this goes. I do have a redraw. And I have a 4/2 and flyer in play. They must not have... Yeah, they don't have the 6th land in play, I guess, is the thing. Or they don't have a land in hand. Which is probably not good news for me. Because it means they're on all spells. Okay, I do not mind more Hard Bristle Bandits coming down. It does mean they'll have 6 mana next turn. Actually, it means they have up to, like, what, 8 mana next turn? 9 mana if they play a land. But that being one of the last cards in their hand, I think I'm happy about. They're really thinking about the play here. Alright, that's not good. Let's go ahead and do our redraw. Okay, they have some sort of like sorcery or creature they can play. That one I cannot play, but I get to Nuggy for 4. Get to play a land and pass. Alright, so you unlocked your 6 mana play. A Cactarantula would be just really rock solid here. I am looking for... oh, they're plotting. Tumbleweed Rising. That is not the card they want right now. They go big creature and plus that next turn they can swing things around, but as it stands they're going down to 2. Okay, they're making a big creature. Interesting. Like they just need what? They just left themselves dead on board? Huh. I would have loved to see what that last card in their hand was. Alright. What did we see here? I mean, green, red can make some big creatures, which can be a problem. This is where Fake Your Own Death looks decent. Betrayal at the Vault actually doesn't look very good here. Rooftop Assassin can be okay. I already have the Skullduggery, and we definitely want that against a bunch of hardback, bristle daddies, or whatever they're called. What are you called? Hard Bristle Daddy. That's what it's called. Other than that, I don't know that I want to change anything else here. Like Rooftop Assassin is one of the other cards I could consider because it does deal with big creatures. Though, obviously as a 2-for-1. I do think I want Fake Your Own Death, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe I just don't need to make any changes. Like, Fake Your Own Death, what this does is let you, like, smash a Hollow Marauder into a Cactarantula and then trade off. It's actually, this is just really good with my Marauders in general, so maybe that's something I should consider, but mostly I just saw big creatures from opponent. 2 Tumbleweeds, Tumbleweeds are strong. Like, they've got a lot of ramp. But they didn't even find a non-red-green land off of the ramp. I like this hand. This hand's good. A one-drop green creature. Ankle Biter. Okay. I do not care for Ankle Biter at all. I don't think it's that good, but it does turn on your fight spells. I would probably consider one in my deck. 2-drop. Okay, opponent's curving out with the Bristle Bandit. Ouch. And I am going to play the 1-3 here. Okay, shoot me for 1. Again, just giving up a mana. I wonder if my opponent might be unaware of how to use this. Because the idea is you tap it for mana, like Matic, if you're watching this. You tap this for mana, and then you untap it when you commit the crime, and you just have an extra mana that turn, so they could have cast like a pretty big spell. That's a good draw. Question is, do I get greedy with the tap land? I think I'm just going to hold Servant of the Stinger back. It's pretty greedy. I really don't need to. I don't need to get greedy. I've got like things I want to do on 5 mana in my hand. So I'm just going to get a basic. Like my green blade won't be as big. If you know what I mean. Like here, if they were to play something really problematic, I could consume and ashes it. Yeah, I'm just not worried about this. I keep taking 1 from Ankle Biter, that's okay. In fact, if they attack me, that opens up attack with Green Blade. Uh-huh. They could have Derailment here, which would be a little annoying if I go for the Alchemist. Alright, I am going to go for the Alchemist, though. And if they use Derailment, so be it. I think I'm going to use it here. No, they don't have anything. Using it there because it lets me attack with both creatures. I guess I could attack with both creatures anyway. Okay. Go ahead. Opponent has yet to play anything super scary. If they play the Tumbleweed and they make the token, they're going to make a giant token, but Consume and Ashes can exile it and get the Surveil too. That being said, man, all 3 of my opponents played Rodeo Pyromancers today? I think so. My first round opponent, yeah, my first round opponent played Rodeo Pyromancers too. It's kind of wild. Tumbleweed Ryzen, make a 3/3. Sure. I accept. Yep, get some damage in. Okay. Opponent's got some stuff going on. I mean, that's just a rock solid 5-drop to play here. I can hold the Stinger back. I'm not looking to tutor anything from my library. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and play this and pass. And again, trade-in just benefits me so much. My hand can deal with any giant creature that comes down and doesn't have hexproof. It feels like my opponent just has a land in hand right now. I'm going to put the 2/3 in front of this if they attack. Yeah, get that out of the way. I would rather me have the agency to let that trade with my 2/3 than for it to trade with my 5/4. Alright, I'm going to jam. Yeah, if they just put a bunch of creatures in front of it, that's fine. I'll play Hollow Marauder, get the last card out of their hand. Presumably a land, right? The Pyromancer's ability is basically irrelevant now. So yeah, let's eat that land. Draw my card. Oh, did I not play Owl Alchemist? Am I just bad at this game? Wait a second, do I suck at Magic the Gathering? Should I retire? I mean, I don't hate this card. I don't think it's bad, but this is not the deck that wants it. They must have like some gigantic spell, right? Oh, they didn't fetch a land. Okay, yeah, I'm getting the impression my opponent might be a little newer. They missed getting an extra land off of that as well. So that could be a 7/7. That being said, I'm just gonna kill it. Oh, Arid Archway. Pick up my Gulch. Don't need to do that before combat. Don't need to fire these off at all right now. Actually, I'm going to go full control. I'm going to do this now because I will search something up with this servant. Just something that kind of walks the game up. Yeah, if I end up searching, so be it, but I'll leave these on top. I could put the 3/3 on bottom. It's actually not super relevant anymore. Yeah, that's also great. I also tapped like a dummy, but... Oh, I'm full control. Am I in my end step? No, okay. Alright, good sport. I like that. I appreciate a good sport. Unlike Dave, 97, 94, shit listed from now till all time. You know what you did, Dave. I was trying to be generous when I said you weren't roping me, but we know what you were doing, Dave. Wasting my time, wasting my precious viewers' times, all 7 of the people. Oh, can you imagine if that just hit any creature? Alright, putting them dead to a Spinewoods Paladin with 2 removal spells in my hand. Feels good. My track record against Rodeo Pyromancers today is unparalleled. Let's see what they drew. They're plotting. I don't believe you have... Nah, it's not gonna do it, my guy. Alright. That wouldn't have changed anything. Even if they blocked here, they take 5 on board, so... Good game. I'm glad... I appreciate when people, like, are behind in good game. It's easy to discern what they're trying to say. When people are ahead in the good game, it always feels like they're being obnoxious. That's my second trophy of the set out of about 7 or 8 drafts. Deck played well. I dodged bombs, right? I dodged super bombs. I don't think anyone played anything unbeatable against me. You can imagine a world where somebody had played Bonnie Paul or Terror of the Peaks and the game is just over, or God forbid the Rattle Worm or whatever. And I didn't have any super bombs myself, but I felt like this was a nice green-black synergistic deck. Despite not having the gold cards, I didn't see the gold uncommons, which are great. Rise of the Varmints, decent. Could have used a little more self-mill. Like if you had just replaced maybe Vault Plunderer in my deck with one of the 2/3s that mills 3 cards, we could have really powered this up. But these whole Marauders, my God, these were so good. And I had an opportunity to take a 3rd one in the draft. I don't actually remember what I took over it. But this was just a nice little green-black kind of rock deck, I guess. Like just a super average mid-range deck. We didn't really see Rush of Dread do anything, but there were times where it would have been a good draw. Other than that, the rest of my deck was just kind of like cards that play to the board. So like the ultimate Cabs Theory deck, right? Nothing fancy going on here. Played decently. Arid Archway, I don't know that I demonstrated how good this card is, but at the very least, there were times where I got an extra point of damage off of my Gulch because this card was in my deck. And with the Green Blade, it was quite good. So everything here just felt kind of good. I think this is like, honestly, a below average deck compared to the decks that I've been playing against, compared to some of the other decks I've had, even though I didn't trophy with them. I felt like this was below average, and I just so happened to not run into my opponent's bombs, which is crazy because the power level of my cards are great. Like, this is a 2-mana 3/2 with Trample and Upside. This 5-mana 5/4 that gains you life with Trample and Upside. Like, I have a bunch of good cards, but the power level of this set is so juiced that people are just doing these really broken things. But I also had good removal. Good removal helps. So, I hope I demonstrated some of the facets of this set. I don't know that my games were a great snapshot of what this set feels like or at least has felt like to me, because we did dodge all the bombs, but I hope it was at least entertaining, and I showed you that there are some good green-black synergy things going on in the set, which is not usually the case for limited. So that's going to go ahead and do it. This was a nice set. Thanks for joining me. I'm sorry about Dave's behavior. Like, on Dave's behalf, like, he's had a tough time. You know, his wife has just been really on him lately. So Dave, I get it. Like, I understand. Just come talk to me, Dave. Like, hit me up on the phone. Also, Tyler, if you're watching, congratulations on your top 500. You're my buddy. You did great. Am I rambling? All right, let's close this out. So remember, JankDiverTim, we do cube related content. I know there's not as much cube related content on the YouTube channel, but it's hard for me to get into those cube drafts and record them. But we do cube related stuff on our channel, and we also have started some brawl related stuff. So if you're into the brawl format, we have stipulation based deck building that changes the stipulations from week to week, which has been a ton of fun for a lot of different people. So come join us. There's a link down below to our Discord wherever you're watching this, presumably YouTube. Feel free to like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. Let me know if you want to see more content, especially more Outlaws of Thunder Junction drafts. I'll probably have 1 or 2 more for the channel during the set's duration, and we'll see if my opinion of the set improves or not. Right now I'm kind of like, yeah. So I'm curious what other people think, but that's going to go ahead and do it. My name's Timothy with JankDiverTim. I'll catch you all next time.